aggressive that time.
She was. I think it's because we're
hi, everybody.
talking. Hello. There's a delay if you haven't picked up on it.
Only a small one.
Small one.
But hi, I'm Lauren.
I'm Bridget, and you're listening to Gateway Anime Podcast. And I'm eating chips.
The podcast where we force you to like things that we like, because that's what we do. We just all want to be friends.
Why can't we be friends? So it's also like an ice apocalypse in Texas right now, so it's really weird. Lauren's more just wet and cold, and mine is tree branches are snapping because they're all covered in like a 2-inch layer of ice. It's weird.
Yeah, I didn't get any of that. I just got wet and cold.
Isn't it?
I'm okay with.
Isn't it weird that you're only like an hour south of me, and it's that drastic of a difference?
That equator, man, just radiates that heat.
We're not that close.
When I was a little kid, and we were just learning about the equator, I was like, so that's like the source of all heat in the world. And then one of my teachers told me that the line on a globe is like, because it had like that seam on the globe, because that's where they put the globe together, right? It's the equator. And I was like, oh my God. So I really thought that it just opened up right there, and that's where like all the lava in the world came from. Yeah, I was like 5. Okay, let's just, before you tell me how stupid I am. I was 5, and I literally thought the world like opened into the ground right there, and that's literally where all of like heat waves came from. It's just the wind blowing that heat from the open lava pit into the world.
I don't know how to respond. I mean, you were 5, so that makes sense. It's child logic, but I literally am sitting here like, what do I say to that? Like,
I just shared with you a deeply personal childhood memory.
I feel like you thought Earth was like
I was insane. I did think that
Earth was like Pac-Man, and the lava came out, and I really love that. So, I mean, not exactly wrong, maybe not in that specific point. I just loved in elementary school, someone was like, Earth is like pimples, and you get stuff that comes up and it ruptures out of your face, and I was like, yeah, and they were like, that's Earth, that's, volcanoes, and I was like, makes sense. So from a young age, it was like, volcanoes are Earth pimples. Get really red and flaming yet. I was like, God's gotta squish it. Anyway, so we're weird, kids.
That's okay. It made us special, and I like that for us. I like that for us.
I like that, yeah. I'm gonna get you my dill pickle chips.
All right, well, let's see. So this week, what did we watch? We watched 3 episodes this week. We watched episode 5, First Battle, The Struggle for Trost, Part 1. Episode 6, The World the Girl Saw, The Struggle for Trost, Part 2. Episode 7, The Struggle for Trost, Part 3. Guess what? There's many Struggle for Trost, and we are not even halfway done with them. So prepare yourself for a continuing struggle.
When they say struggle, legit struggle here.
Yeah, lots of struggle. So much struggle. It's very real. But here's your Episode 5, First Battle, Funimation summary. Are you ready?
Ready.
Gotcha. So, Eren faces off against the Colossal Titan after it appears out of nowhere and knocks a strategic hole in the Rose Wall Gate. As Titans swarm the city, the newly graduated cadets are called in to fight in brutal battle that won't be without casualties. That's it.
I think that's solid. Yep. Solid summary.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Because it tells you exactly...
Didn't give too much away.
Yep, exactly where we started. Is your mic set to your... Which microphone are you set on again?
Jesus. Oh my God, why does it keep switching?
I don't know, but I was like, why can I hear your jacket?
Okay,
Lord?
is this better?
Yeah! Lauren's computer hates us
She,
for some reason.
I, I don't know what's going on with it today. It was so fine the last like 3 episodes, and today it's just being the biggest butt. I restarted it. I like gave it a nice little nap. I charged it all day. I don't generally do that. I just let it die and then plug it in right before we record.
That's actually supposed to be better for your battery, though.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. So yeah, I attempted. My bad.
It just really hates your microphone, and it's so odd. Okay.
Paid like $30 for the microphone. Jeez. I think I paid like $40 for this.
You sounded like a robot for a second, and it was. I just can't wait for you to go back and listen to the beginning of this podcast because it's. See, it did it again. It sounds almost like there's like static electricity running through your microphone. It's so weird.
It's still on this mic.
Yeah, no, it didn't sound like the mic. It didn't sound like closed. It sounded like, I don't know, electro like shocked your microphone. It was very distinct, weird noise. But all right, here we go. You ready? That was a good summary.
No.
Now let's break it down. All right. So they really love recapping in all of these episodes in the beginning for some reason, and they're never a short recap. But year 845 is when the Colossal and Armored Titan hit the wall. 20% of human race vanished while Maria is compromised. 850, 5 years later, Colossal Titan's back. Wham bam. Here we are. Colossal Titan literally just sweeps the arm across and knocks all of their cannons off. Eren realizes that this Titan's a little bit different. Like, they have, like, abnormal Titans, but this one is different because it's like, hey, those cannons are gonna hurt me. I'm gonna sweep my arm and I'm gonna just take them out. And Eren realizes this Titan probably has intelligence. Like, it is very aware of what it's doing. The Colossal Titan also, we see, can release steam and blow people off of them if they're getting too close and burn them. But Eren goes in to make the final blow. The steam is blown, he can't really see, and when he swipes in what should be the killing blow for the Titan, it's gone. You can see the footprints of where it used to be, but Titan has just vanished into thin air. Just like 5 years ago. So they have to go back to headquarters and report all the details because they were close to the Titan, and the advance team's going to go hunt him down. So people are having to retreat inward because the Colossal Titan did just like shove its knee through the wall yet again and created another breach in the wall. And that's great. That's just great. Everyone else has to go and take down the Titans. So like, these cadets literally just graduated. They're not deployed anywhere yet. They're all in the city, and now the life's about to hit them really hard. So Mikasa is looking at that one couple hugging. I write down their names later because
their names are Hana and Franz.
Yeah, Hana and Franz.
I don't remember Franz's last name.
That's all you need to know.
Did I have him in here? Okay, so his name is Franz Kefta, and her name is Hana Diamond, which is a weird name for anyone who has that name.
Sorry to
Small
offense. So that's them. We'll talk about them later. So Mikasa is looking at them, and I'm like, she just wants that with Eren so bad. She's got the hots for him. A hole in the wall is about 8 meters wide. Armin's starting to freak out a little bit, and he's like shaking, trying to put his ODM gear together because they don't have a way to hoist that boulder that would plug the hole. And so it's really, really inconvenient, and they're just not strong enough. There's a giant rock that would be perfect, and wouldn't it be great if someone could lift a giant rock like Atlas or something, but yet here we are without Atlas. Titans are starting to come through the hole in the wall. Then we see Pixis, Commander Pixis, He is in like an inner ring, and he's playing chess with a rich aristocrat, lord on the inner part of the city. He will never say it right the first time. I even think about it, and it still comes out cat instead of crat. So they're all well fed. You can see they're like munching because the cat's the only cat who knows where it's at. Basically, you see they're not famining in this place and there's no worries. But then a messenger comes in and telling them about the city of Trost, the gates being destroyed, and Pixis chugs.
Also, can I just say,
yeah,
that lord is an absolute monster for eating 3 differently flavored cookies at one time.
Yeah, that's wrong.
Dude.
Mess up your taste palette.
Monster. Sorry, continue.
We might see Titans, but that's monster.
That's a real monster.
Who's the real enemy here? Alright, so a messenger comes in.
Lord Wald.
And we see Pixis just like chug a bunch of alcohol and then marches off. That's a common theme later, ever, all the time. Pixis is like always drunk.
But he's pretty cool, so I'll give him a pass.
I like him, but the dude's always drunk. It's not great in the end.
Yeah.
The Lord wants him to stay, but Pixis is ignoring him. The Lord's like, I order you to stay and defend me. Like, basically, he just wants to have his own personal security guard and live. And Pixis is like, no, my people are dying on the battlefield. I'm going there. So Pixis is cool. We like Pixis. They get their briefing, and then the gate's destroyed, and that they should expect, if the Colossal Titan popped up, Armored Titan's going to pop up at any moment. And he's going to destroy the gate, and, then the same thing that happened to Walmaria is going to happen to Walrose. So they're all a little freaked out. They're reminded that desertion is punishable by execution, and they're expected to lay down their lives if it calls for it, being a part of the guard. Everyone's panicking. They're all new graduates. Jean wanted to be shipped off to the inner walls. He was 1 day away from being military police and going to the kingdom, so sucks to suck, Jean. Mikasa tells Eren that if things go bad, he's to find her, but Eren is just like the most rude. Like, it infuriates me the way he treats Mikasa in the scene. The way he treats Mikasa all the time, but in this scene, I'm like, you are such a brat. You are such a brat.
So, like, at the same time, though, she's treating him like a total child when he
is one!
Is a soldier now. Okay, but he's not. Like, they're both children. She doesn't have the right to be like, you can't do this on your own, come find me if anything goes wrong. He tells her, at least in the sub, I don't know if it translates differently, but he tells her, I'm a soldier, I have to follow orders. Like, I can't just abandon my post because you're afraid for me.
Yeah, he says that.
And I don't know if he says that in...
But you can see where she's coming from, and she's like, I just don't want you to die. You can't die. And he's just like, headbutt, get your act together.
From too. He's trying to shake the scared out of her because he knows that's not her anyway. I'm just saying, I don't like Eren as a main character. I want to get that out there in the world. Yeah, he's a fine character. I'm not like an Eren apologist. He is a bad person. Like, I don't like him.
You're not a Jaegerist?
If you can say I am not a Jaegerist, turns out. But my favorite character is easily one of the worst characters in the entire show, but we'll get into that in later seasons, which is fine.
Who is it?
I'll tell you who it is after we're done.
Okay.
I can't tell you right now. But what was I saying? But I'm saying that I can definitely see the point here. She shouldn't be treating him like a child, especially in front of all the other cadets.
They were off to the side.
No, everyone's listening to them. They all heard
because Eren's yelling because Eren's a child.
I'm just saying that she doesn't have to treat him like a child.
But the
when
way
she
he
is
walks
also a
off-
child. No.
The way he walks
Just
off, he's like,
saying.
look at me, because I don't have to. He's such a baby. Like, I would have headbutted him back and been like,
She
get your
has
act
dated
together.
him their entire lives, and he obviously doesn't need it, which we see in the second episode.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm just saying. Again, I don't like Eren,
He's
but
such a
Eren's
brat.
got some balls, and he can take care of himself and the people around him. It's fine.
I mean, this is hard for me because I am watching this series as it's weekly premiering live, and then I'm also going backwards. So it's like at the same time I know what's happening and I know what caused, and I'm just like, it's a lot of emotions fighting each other because I have to act ignorant for this season, but I know what's happening in this season. I'm just like,
just so everyone knows, Lauren is not caught up. She watched half of season 4, part 1, and stopped watching.
I'm watching every week.
Eren pissed me off. But I will watch it eventually.
If he thinks he made you mad, then just
I'm sure he's gonna make me mad to the entire thing. But also, my favorite character is a bad person, and I know bad things are going to happen, and I'm upset about it.
I am so curious. Let's hurry up and wrap this show up so I can hear who your favorite character is. Yeah. Okay, here we go. I think you switched mics again.
Fuck. No, I didn't. It's the right microphone.
It is? But I can hear your jacket moving on it.
I don't know, dude. It's switched to the correct microphone.
That's weird. Okay, here we go.
Oh my God. It just went away. Hold on.
It's like, but I can hear your jacket. Your computer lies.
Okay. There you go. I'm mad.
Okay, here we go. Anyway, Mikasa and Eren. Gosh, Mikasa. Golly. Dang, Texas. Anyway, they're the worst. Mikasa and Aristocats. Lord. I'm writing this down because what a great episode name. Mikasa and the Mikasa as Su Aristocat.
Ugh.
That just looks like gibberish. Anyway.
Something dumb you said.
Yeah, this episode's already gotten me all tongue-tied. Okay. So, Mikasa is assigned to the rear guard because she's an elite soldier, and the elites are in the back, moving forward. And the people in the front are, like the throwaway people. So that's where most of the cadets are. Mikasa tells Eren, whatever happens, don't get yourself killed. That's like her parting words to him.
And then Eren's like, actually, I am gonna go die now, so please leave me alone.
Wrote, literally, Eren is the worst. I have so many notes on how mad I get at Eren.
So he is the worst, but I feel like we also need to acknowledge that Mikasa is also the worst. And they both suck so
toxic
bad.
Spiral, and poor Armin is right in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Sweet little normal child Armin, and then toxic, I don't care about my life. Yeah, it's... So then we have a flashback when they're in class about the Titans. They lack reproductive organs, so we don't know how they reproduce or how they got here. They only have an appetite for humans, not other animals, but they don't consume humans to live. It is purely for pleasure, not pressure. Pleasure. They're just in it for the kill. I don't know what's happening.
Get peer pressured into it. The other Titans are like, hey, you gonna eat that?
Hey, you gonna eat that? You gonna eat that? Triple dog dare you. Eat that kid. Eat that kid.
Like, are you Titan or not?
Yeah, Teen Titan peer pressure.
Teen Titan peer pressure?
Yeah,
go! 1, 2, 3, 4, go!
We're only on the first episode and we are so off the rails already. Like, this is okay. So their body
I'm so
temperature
sorry.
runs a crazy high degree. That's why they always steam up. The cannons aren't enough to kill them. You can take off the Titan's head, but they'll regenerate within 2 minutes. So the only way to kill them is at the nape of the neck. If you get a deep strike in there, they won't regenerate. They just die, and then they kind of like steam up and disintegrate. They like cook themselves. I don't know. It's really weird. So Eren, literally, so they're out in the city now. We're back to modern. No more flashback. They're on the roofs. They're getting ready to fight. Most of the cadets are in the front of the city because they're the weaker ones. And Eren is literally so cocky. I'm like, I hope you do die. Because he wants to raise in the rank. I was not like that when I first watched this, but watching back, I'm like, I hope you die. But he's like, we can raise in the ranks. Look at us.
The second watch through, actually, I guess this is the third time I've watched season 1 because I watched it with Will whenever he watched it for the first time. But that was years ago. But I actually like Eren much more this time. And I honestly think it's because of his sub voice actor. He's just he's much less bratty than Bryce. And Bryce, you're wonderful. I love Inosuke, I'm sorry. But
I love Inosuke, but man, this
the Japanese voice actor is just so much, not calm, but his cockiness isn't like, it doesn't come across as bratty. It comes across as like, all right, I have to do this now, like determined.
In the dub, it is like a middle schooler. But I'm gonna go kill all of these guys, and now you can't stop me, and I'm gonna get all the Titans in the world. Let's go, Armin. That's how it sounds like in my head, and I'm like, bruh.
It's just so different in Japanese. Like, I want you to watch it in Japanese because it's.
I bounce around.
He's just so much less of a jerk, and I still don't like him, but I understand him more, and I can see him without just automatically hating him because of his stupid voice.
1 year ago, this week, 1 year ago was when I started watching Attack on Titan for the first time, and I loved Eren. Like I really liked him. I loved all the characters, and I was not a big fan. I was not a big fan of Armin. And now, 1 year later, where I am now, after having read all of the manga, watched all the shows so far, I'm like, Eren's the worst. I cannot stand Eren, except for older Eren, but that's for other reasons. And then I love Armin, because I'm like, Armin's this pure, good-hearted baby that we need to protect at all costs. Eren, I hope you get eaten by...
Armin is probably my second favorite character. I will have more to say about him in the next episode, or at the end of this one.
Yeah. Okay. If we ever get there, because we're railing.
Who knows?
All right, here we go. So, the Vanguard was completely overwhelmed. They're at the front, and like basically there are Titans everywhere. All of a sudden, this abnormal Titan that can jump. So you have normal Titans that are just dumb, walk around and eat people. And then you have abnormals who sometimes can do special things. Like this one can leap, which is not great. And we see a few others later. I think we saw one in the first episode. There was an abnormal that did something, but I don't remember what. Or maybe they were just talking about the armored Titan and how he was running. I think they just called him abnormal. But this one can jump like a little froggy. And so he jumps and everybody kind of dodges out of the way except for one person, that blonde soldier that I don't remember his name. Thomas.
His name is Thomas Wagner.
Well,
R.I.P. Thomas.
R.I.P. Thomas, because he gets pinned up against like a clock tower and then like back broken and then just gets bit in half and then it swallows him. No, he doesn't get bit in half. He just gets swallowed.
It swallows him whole.
I try and specify how these people die because I think it's important. Eren, of course, in a very childlike reaction, gets real angry, doesn't think it through, and runs at the Titan by himself. Armin follows, as Armin does in all of his life. And as Eren swings over the Titan, all cocky, and was like, yeah, I'm gonna get you. The Titan jumps up and bites Eren's leg off.
It was a different Titan that jumped up and bit his leg off.
True.
He didn't see it because he was focused on the other one. He's still an idiot. But I want to clarify that he was an idiot who was surprised.
a surprised idiot who is lacking a leg now.
Yes.
So it's like the knee down is gone. And Armin's like, ah, and Armin freezes and can't move. And because all the others are following Eren's lead, the surprised idiot, who's now like unconscious on a rooftop bleeding, another Titan slams another cadet, one grabs their ODM like rope grapple thing and yanks her down, and then everyone's just getting demolished and eaten. And it's a bloodbath. And Armin is frozen in fear, like just shaking. But then this iconic, giant, bearded, Santa Claus looking Titan.
I also called him the Santa Claus Titan.
I mean, it's that beard is like a very distinct Santa Claus beard. Picks up Armin and just pops him in his mouth. Doesn't bite him. Just gonna swallow him whole. You know, like when, I don't know what I can relate that to. I was thinking of something and I got nothing.
Mashed potatoes? You could swallow mashed potatoes whole.
But I'm thinking like a whole thing. Like a whole thing. Like an M&M, I would chew it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
A noodle. I
don't know. I chew
like a good old spaghetti noodle that you go, that's Armin. He's the noodle.
Do you not chew noodles?
I do some, but if they're like short, no, like I don't know. Anyway, we'll address that later. I feel judged on my noodle consumption. All right, Equator.
Okay, ow. I guess I deserve that, but
do you not chew
I was
noodles?
A child. I was a child.
I learned how to chew noodles when I was a child.
You're a grown woman. You don't chew noodles.
I chew some of them, but like sometimes macaroni doesn't need chewing. I savor the cheesy and go. Anyway, like SpaghettiOs. Why do we chew those?
Okay, that's fair. Those are small enough to not have to chew.
Armin is a SpaghettiO. Okay.
I'll give you that.
Anyway, Eren sees this, but is all bloodied and dazed and probably got a concussion from his fall and, lack of a leg. And Eren has a flashback of him and Armin as kids, and Armin having this book about the outside world, which is illegal. They learn and talk about the sea and how it's salty. They talk about deserts like Antarctica, ice, snow, all these crazy things they've never seen. And Armin says his parents are planning on sneaking outside the walls that night to see it for themselves. Now remember, we've only met Armin's grandpa because we presume they maybe did get out of the walls, and that's not great. Also, why would you leave your kid? That's so rude.
But it's so dangerous to try to take him. I don't know. Maybe they thought they could find something. We may never know. That's what fanfiction's for, kids.
Yeah. So Armin is now slowly sliding down the throat of Santa Claus Titan, and then all of a sudden Eren's in the throat. He's got his sword like in the mouth, like holding it up. And he grabs Armin and throws him out of the Titan's mouth. And then Eren reaches his hand out to Armin and is like, we have to go see the outside world. We have to do it. Why is he lamenting and monologuing while in the mouth of a Titan? Because he's a child. And then
because he can't get out. Can you imagine the immense pressure that he is trying to hold up with one leg and all the blood that he's lost? I think this is a really great Eren moment. No, wait. I think this is a really great Eren moment. He is injured. He is bleeding to death, and he still goes and saves his best friend's life so that he can fulfill his dream that he's had since he's been a child. I think that is really... It's heroic. It really is. It's a very nice moment for him. And yeah, he's an idiot, but he's a sweet idiot.
In my first viewing of Attack on Titan, I agree with that. In my second viewing of Attack on Titan, I'm like, that's probably like when you get a chip in your mouth and it's like this and it hurts. You're not putting pressure on it. You're like, ow, and then you just kind of go for it. That's what I feel like the Titan's doing. Probably. I feel like Eren has a hero complex.
Does that lessen the fact that Eren just saved Armin's life at the expense of his own?
No.
Then there you go.
So
thank you. That's all I needed.
I have two different views. I have first time viewer and now viewer. Because this show, I can't say what the show, it's really complicated. And if you watch the new season of Attack on Titan, you understand why it's really complicated for me to talk about things that are happening in season 1. Even though they have nothing to do with season 4, they have everything to do with season 1.
But here's the thing. If you can just separate yourself from what you've already seen and look at it again as that first-time viewer, that's what I'm doing. I've watched this season 3 times all the way through. And now I'm on my 3rd and a half viewing, right? And I'm just not thinking about anything that comes after. I mean, I am, but I'm pushing them to the side as they come up.
Yeah.
And if you can look at it that way,
I am, but I'm going to share
a good moment.
Both viewpoints. But yes, this is a good Eren. He loves his friends. He will do anything for his friends. Die for them. Okay. So, as Eren reaches his hand out to Armin, tells him he needs to go see the sea, the Titan's mouth snaps shut, and Eren's arm falls to the ground outside of the Titan's mouth, but Eren is swallowed. Sans arm and sans leg. So, bam, bam, bam. Our main character has been chopped up and swallowed by a Titan. Armin screams, this blood-curdling scream that Lauren and I were just talking about, and it literally shakes you. And Mikasa, gosh dang it, I know her name, but when I'm reading it, I say Mikasa.
I know. When you read it, I know.
It's like, in a conversation, I will say it right, but when I read it, I'm like, nope, there it went. But Mikasa looks back in horror, either after hearing Armin scream, or because she can sense that Eren's died and something's wrong. I like to think it's a bit of both.
Me too.
After credits, I didn't write down the quote. Basically, it's talking about, like, the smell of death and all this stuff. It went by really fast, and the after credit, like, scene that we see is just still everyone hiding or injured from Titans and having flashbacks of life before this moment. Which is not that hopeful, but there it is.
I remember watching this episode. I think this was the episode where I really got hooked on Attack on Titan, because how can you not? I'd never seen a main character just die before.
Yeah, like we have literally only followed Eren.
Stakes.
Yeah.
And so I was watching this just like, well, who's taking over now? Like, is it just Armin? And I did not give Armin a fair chance when I first watched this anime either. Now I adore him. But like at the time I was like, I have to deal with this kid now? I don't even know if he's a boy or a girl. Like I was so mad.
I was always very confused on that too.
I don't know. I know. Armin's a boy, just so everyone knows. He is voiced by a woman in the sub.
Yeah,
but he is a boy.
Fun fact: took some of us a longer time to get that back. But
yeah.
And I was the same. Was not a big Armin person in the first watch. In the second watch, I'm like, that is the most realistic reactions that he is having right now. If I was suddenly in an army and then these giants were coming and my friends got eaten, absolutely would be the same kind of thing. I like to think I could be like Mikasa.
No time to prepare too.
But I am not. I would end up being like Armin. Let's be real. Most of us would.
I would either pull an Armin or an Eren or something in between where I would do something really stupid and die instantly, or I would be too afraid to do anything and just stop moving.
Yeah.
That's the honest truth. Or I'd be a Jean if I want to be completely honest and just be a little biatch about it.
I feel like I'd end up being more like of a Connie. I'd be trying to take care of the others and get everybody and be like, can't leave anybody. But we don't see much of Connie in this, so I can't really tell. But I just really love Connie and Sasha. Okay. Episode 6. Lauren?
Are you ready for your voice actors?
Oh, yeah!
I got voice actors and fun facts, dude. Don't just skip me. Why do you hate me, Bridget?
I'm just used to everybody being dead, and I'm like, let's go. I just really want to know what your favorite character is.
Yeah, they died. They die, but they talk first. So let's get into it.
Even if only 2 lines.
I've got 5 characters in this. There are 3 characters that talk in this, but then die, but they don't have names until the 3rd episode of this episode, so I will be going over their voice actors then. But for right now, the people who have spoken with names, they start with Hana. Hana Dement. Her English voice actor is Tia Ballard, and she plays Happy the Cat from Fairy Tail. Yashiro Ni in Toilet Bound Hanako-kun. Don't ask me what that is because it's messed up, but I don't want to get into it right now.
Okay. That was like interesting name.
She also plays Kokomi in The Disastrous Life of Saike. And the Japanese voice actor is Megumi Sato. And she plays Citron's Diani in Pokemon the Movie, and Briere in Fairy Tail. Then we've got Franz Kefka.
Everybody's in Fairy Tail, man.
Everyone is in Fairy Tail, that's true. Franz Kefka, his English voice actor is James Chandler, and he's just done a handful of additional voices in pretty much everything, so I did not write him down.
And
there's a lot of additional voices in Attack on Titan, actually. Yeah, so prepare yourself. Then the Japanese voice actor is Kenta Okuna. He plays Sochioka in Skate to the Infinity. He plays Cementos, Manuel, and Centerpeter in My Hero Academia.
Cementos!
And he also plays... Yeah! He also plays Sportsmaster in Young Justice. And Todd from BoJack Horseman in the Japanese dub of that, which I loved. So I was like, okay, Todd, let's go.
I just loved all these like intricate names, and then you're like, and Todd.
And Todd. You know Todd.
Oh,
that
Todd.
goof. Then we've got Dot Pixis. He's played by R. Bruce Elliott, who's been just a whole lot of people, y'all. A whole lot of people. But he was Captain Ginyu in Dragon Ball Z. He was Hoshikawa in Wolf Children, Tanaka in Black Butler, and he was also Bisque Grand and Dr. Knox in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. So Bisque Grand was the other kind of evil dude with the big mustache, State Alchemist. He was at war. Yeah. And then Dr. Knox, of course, the body examiner who helps them, and and then his Japanese
weird.
voice
I can hear it now. I've the dad's
right.
This
like once they said it, I was like, oh.
Isn't that so weird? You can hear the voices, but you don't put it together, and then someone tells you, and then immediately that line is drawn. You're like, yep, there it is.
I don't know. I'm kind of a queen of guessing voices. I was watching Arcane with Dana. We were in Seattle in a hotel room, and we were watching it, and there's this one character named Victor, and through the entire, I really like to guess voice actors. It's like my favorite thing, and I'll just be I watch a lot of cartoons, so they all come from literally everywhere, and I was watching it, and this character Victor, I was like, his voice is really familiar, and so Dana looked it up, because she's so tired of me just saying, because that's how it always starts. I'm like, you know what, this voice is really familiar, and then I guess it, and she gets so mad, but she looked it up, and she was like, all right, you're never going to guess it. So we're listening to it. And all of a sudden, I'm not going to tell you what happens because I know you want to watch it. But there's like one point where the character gives off this guttural scream. And also he speaks in Russian. Like he has a Russian accent. And I was like, you know what? I think this is Mr. Mason from that one... from Jane Eren. She was like, excuse me? And I was like, yeah, but he's from something else. So she's like scrolling through IMDb of this actor. And I was like, okay, this is going to be crazy. And she's looking at me and she's already pissed off. And she was like, what is it? And I'm like, is this Varys Targaryen from Game of Thrones? And she just screams at me. And she was like, you got that from Mr. Mason and Jade Eyre? I was like, yes, I did. Yes, I did, because Mr. Mason has an accent and it sounded slightly familiar for just a moment. So, thank you. And I am the queen of voice actors. That's my point. Anyway, don't play the game with me.
Okay, but wait. So, I had a moment like that while watching our 3 episodes for this week, and it was, I think it was Connie, okay. And Connie went, "Damn it!" And it was like, Bakugo? Is that the same voice actor?
I told you last week that it was Bakugo.
Oh, well, good.
Wait, do you not pay attention to me when I tell you names?
I do, but I have no short-term memory, and so he said, "Damn it," and I was like, that is the exact phrase and sound that Bakugo makes. Okay.
Yeah, it's weird because his Japanese voice actor is Zenitsu from Demon Slayer, and it's just very different character than Clifton. It's just like a different sound completely, but it works. They both work really well. What is his name? Is it
Connie.
No, the voice actor. Oh! Connie, the voice actor.
I was like, Connie's not Clifton. Anyway, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay, his name is Clifford Chapin. Okay, I put his 2 names together. I'm sorry. Anyway, I'm gonna go back to my voice actor list because I still have 2 more after this. So the Japanese voice actor for Dot Pixis is Masahiko Tanaka, and he plays Guron from Full Metal Panic, Ryu in the original Shaman King, and in the new one. Super cool that they brought him back. And he's the 4th Kazekage in Naruto, which is the Hokage of the Sand Village. So, just so you know.
Alright.
Then there's Lord Wald. His English voice actor is Barry Yaddle, and he plays Mori in Dragon Ball Z, William T. Spears in Black Butler, and, of course, Yoki in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Oh,
and then his
Japanese character.
Wow, he's just really good at being a little bee.
I guess so.
The Japanese voice actor's name is Kosuke Takaguchi, and he plays Muscular in My Hero Academia.
Ugh.
Falco Lombardi in Star Fox Zero, and Durana in Hyrule Warriors, who is the king of the Goron people, which is really dope for me. No, I'm not going to go in this tangent. We'll talk about Zelda at some other point in our life. Okay. And then the last character I have is, of course, the late Thomas Wagner. All right. His English voice actor is Duncan Brannon, and he plays Shogo Sato in Yu Yu Hakusho. He's a number 48, or the younger Slicer brother in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, so he's the bottom half of the guy that Ed fights.
He's the bottom half of the armor.
And then he also plays Shichichiro in Samurai 7. And then his Japanese voice actor, the only thing that I could find really for him, his name is Shigeyuki Sashike, and he plays Wei Lu in Kuroko's Basketball, which is a really popular basketball anime that's on Netflix that I have not started. So those are all my voice actors for this. I don't have any fun facts, but I was able to find the mid-episode slides and
which is helpful. Say.
Yeah. So I just listed both of them together. I don't know where they leave off, but this first one is about wall-mounted artillery. So it says, prior to ODM gear, cannons were humanity's primary anti-Titan weapon. In order to make up for their lack of mobility, the cannons were placed on the walls, and defensive improvements were made to the walls as well. So the grape shot is a lethally but effective. Is lethally. That's what it says. Legally. I thought it meant lethal. No, I don't know.
Like by law, lethally, but lethal.
I guess so. But effective at stopping Titan movement. It was a weird sentence. I read it 4 times.
But now that sentence doesn't make sense. By law,
I know.
Law lethally, but whatever. All right.
I don't know. And then it says the shells deals a large amount of damage, but they are extremely inaccurate making it very difficult to aim and hit the target. So basically, cannons suck.
Yeah.
But, if you can't do anything else, you got cannons.
When in doubt, your last resort, cannons.
Blast it out.
When in doubt, blast it out. That might be our new title.
No. Okay. Well, I'm gonna give you the Funimation summary for episode 6, The World the Girls Saw, The Struggle for Trost, Part 2. So, Armin tries to cope with the loss of his friends and allies after Titans massacre his squad. Elsewhere in the city, Mikasa manages to take out several of the monsters, which brings back tragic memories of her past and the first time she met Eren. That is the summary for this episode.
This episode, when I first watched it, really made me question my liking of Eren. Which I think it does to most people.
What happens in this episode, and I am still in question on how this didn't affect their lives.
Yeah,
what I mean?
I guess therapy was the thing back then, but that child needed therapy.
But okay, we'll get into it when we get there, but I have a lot of questions. Just
so did Grisha.
But yeah, I don't know, man. This was just dropped way too fast for my liking. Anyway, go ahead and read.
All right, here we go.
We'll talk about it.
Because we'll stop at that point, because I'm sure anybody watching also is a little disturbed again from that. Okay, so Connie has found Armin, not Eren, R.I.P. Connie has found Armin to talk and is trying to get him to talk, trying to make him come to. He's kind of just cut off from the world, mentally. I mean, if your best friend just got chopped up and swallowed, you would also be a little freaked out. Armin's entire squad but him was killed, and Connie's trying to figure out what happened and where's squad, because Armin can't articulate what happened. Armin just starts screaming again and losing it, and it's really bone chilling. Imagine your friend's dazed and you're like, hey, are you okay? And he just looks at you panic wide-eyed and just starts screaming. I would have been oh, I probably would have hit them and been stop, because I don't.
I don't know what I would have done, but I wouldn't just stand there and be like, okay, keep screaming, get it out.
I would have been like, ah, stop. Plug their mouth. What I hit, what I do.
Some kind of reaction.
Yeah. So he starts yelling that he's worthless and he should die, which, sad boy. Connie doesn't want to assume that everyone's dead, but Ymir is standing there and is like, dog, don't you get it? His whole squad's dead. And that he's practically dead. He's a burden. They should just leave him. And Krista comes in and is like, no, and she's trying to keep the peace. Krista's always trying to keep the peace.
I hate Krista.
Oh.
I didn't mind Krista the first couple of times I watched this, and I don't know if I'm just poisoned from the future.
You're poisoned from the future.
I really just dislike Krista.
You're pulling me and Eren, because in this point, Krista is just so good. All she's ever done is try to take care of Sasha. She fed Sasha. She comforted. She is the mother of their group right now. They need a comforter. If I can't hate Eren right now, you can't hate Krista. And I know a lot about Eren.
I guess that's fair.
Yeah.
I still hate her.
Well, I still hate Eren. Kind of.
Good.
Emotionally, I do. Physically, I don't. Anyway, that's weirder now because they're kids. He's an adult when I'm watching right now. I just want to clarify that. He's a grown adult. He's a grown adult man in season 4. There's a big time jump. So Connie's not gonna leave Armin, and Armin just gets real monotone. It's absolutely terrifying. He goes, sorry to be a nuisance, and then zips off to rendezvous with the rear guard, and you're like, what? So you could assume you're like, all right, Armin's gonna die because he's not in the right mindset, and he's got shell shock. Armin, on his Spider-Man swinging way back to the rear guard, realizes they've all been condemned since the beginning, and that strength only preys on weakness. So he starts having flashbacks of when he was little and sees that Mikasa and Eren knew how the world worked. They were strong and wanted to be strong for him. And he goes, I was a victim and I needed protection, and that's how they saw me. And Armin just wanted to be worth something and stand strong and be shoulder to shoulder with them. And so that's why he kept following them. I was like, I've got to do this with them. I can do this too. I can hold my own too. And it's really kind of absolutely heartbreaking.
It's sad.
Yeah.
It's really sad. Because this kid just tried so hard. He did everything right, and then when it came up to the battle, it's terrifying. It's not something you can.
It's not your fault
you
that
never know how you're going to react.
Yeah, it's not your fault that a giant Titan pops out of nowhere and like snaps your like. It's not your fault, man. Yeah. That poor kid.
And you know, we already got a preview of that from Hannes because you know he was a coward too. He just couldn't make himself move, and you know, and this is a child. This is a 15-year-old boy. Like, it's messed
And
up.
until you have practice with it, you're not going to be able to break that in yourself. And it's not like they've had practice with Titans busting in the wall.
Lauren, yeah, like, imagine how nervous you were on your very first day of work. And I switch over again.
Yeah.
Nope, I'm here.
Oh, I can hear that. Okay. We're good.
Okay. Like, imagine how nervous you were on your very first day of work, and all you had to do was like, I used to work in a movie theater. All I had to do was like give people candy and soda. Like that's it. But I had never done that before, so I was terrified. Can you imagine having to go and destroy things with swords while you're swinging from ropes? No, thank you.
It feels a little more complicated than our old job.
Just a little bit.
But some of those guests did feel like Titans when they would come at you, and you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Why are you yelling at me? So
you're just running like...
That's how I'm going to see every angry guest in the theater now.
Also, weird abnormal running Titan is my favorite Titan.
Is that their credited name?
Yes, it's just abnormal running Titan. He is my favorite Titan.
It's the floppy arms. The floppy arms, like the bent, half bent floppy arms that get me. They're like, they look like a T-Rex if it could run fast.
And the way that he like punted that guy out of the street, just accidentally.
When he's like running,
really great for me.
It's not even a well-drawn character. They just strictly, you know, it was a hard week at the studio, and they're like,
it was so bad. But that's my favorite Titan. I would get that Titan tattooed on my body, just like a tiny little weird running Titan.
I'm really.
Get that? Would you get that with me?
No, I would if it was. On, I would if it was on my butt. Because I think that'd be really funny if someone pulls your pants down and looks at it. And
if you wanted to do that.
But the Titan that I want, I like Weird Running Titan. But I'm really hoping, it's in the manga for like the season 4 parts of the manga. And I'm really hoping Mappa decides to animate it. But it is straight up Bob Odenkirk. Like, they copied a picture of Bob Odenkirk as a Titan. Did you see it? I put it in our stories like 2 weeks ago.
No.
But it's like, you cannot deny it. Like, it is Bob Odenkirk, Better Call Saul. Like, someone looked at a picture and drew him as a Titan. And I remember I had just convinced Shane to start reading the manga, and apparently he was like mowing the lawn, and his like watch or headphones like read the text and it said, LOL, Bob Odenkirk Titan in this week's chapter. And he like immediately stopped and went and grabbed his phone to look at this photo, because I was like, what is happening? I'll send you a picture. It's bizarre. I'll repost it on our page tomorrow, but it's just like that. So far, that's been my favorite Titan I've seen drawn, because I'm like, what? But I also love Big Nose Bug Eye one. That one in the first one, it's got like the big nose, and they call it like the Phineas from Phineas and Ferb Titan.
Yeah,
that's a good one too.
I know which one you're talking about. Yeah. That's a good one. That's a good one. Favorite non-important Titan. Abnormal running Titan. Love him. He's just so great.
Every time I see you, I'm gonna run towards you like that now.
You better. If you don't, we're not friends.
Whoa, it's a lot on the line now. If y'all are watching us,
pressure.
If y'all are watching a video of us, so you should, because it's just a lot of us.
You should. We just did a lot
of weird gestures. Okay, where were we?
Yeah.
Here we go. Armin. Armin sees. Armin falls to the ground. Sees that married/dating couple, Hans and Anna. Hana. In my notes, Franz. Okay, so in my notes, I got Franz. I thought it was Hans, but I got Franz, but I wrote Anna because sometimes they say people's names.
Watching Frozen. Franz and Hans and Anna.
Weird spin-off, but yeah. Well, baby, he finally got his
this is what happens to this.
So Armin falls to the ground, sees them. She's giving Franz CPR, and he's not breathing. Like, we don't see his injuries, but we see a lot of blood all around him. And they don't really show his bottom half. I think his bottom half got, like, bit.
Probably, yeah. There's a lot of blood. Like, a lot. Like, he's sitting in a pool of it.
A lot of blood.
So, and he's not moving or responding or breathing.
But she
really just needs to let him go.
Yeah, and so that's basically what Armin is like sees that and is like freaked out, and he's like, "Please stop!" And then like zooms away again, and I'm like, "What?" All right, but it's showing you like everyone they've known, like you either make it or you don't. It's a tight, neat man world out there. So at the gate, this drama at the gate, because the city is Trost is supposed to be evacuating. And that's what all of the guard is doing, is they're holding off Titans until they can close the gate and keep everyone safe. But people are trying to get through, but there's this giant wagon blocking the doorway, so they can't get out the gate. The guy who owns the wagon is the president of the town's merchant guild. He says no one will get out of there unless the wagon makes it through first, because he's super entitled, and he's like, I make all the money, I'm the one who provides everything for you, this wagon's going first, I don't care if y'all die, wagon first, and then y'all can come. There are kids, families, everyone's stuck.
They didn't give us his name in this episode, but he does come back around eventually, I think, because he does have a character name.
Oh, okay.
So be on the lookout for him, I guess.
Oh my gosh.
I don't remember where he comes in.
My mom's making dinner. It smells
what are you
so good in this house. All of a sudden, I just got like a wave of like cooked like meat. It smells like really good sausage. I was like, what is happening right now?
We're making chili tonight.
We're doing chili tomorrow for the cold. Yeah.
It's the perfect time.
White people cold meal. White people cold meal. All right.
We love white people cold meals.
We love white people cold meals. Lauren and I love soup. If there's something you need to know about us,
we do.
We love soup.
We love soup. I exclusively send Bridget anime and soup TikToks.
It's true.
Cats here and there, but mostly anime and soup.
Anime and soup.
I still want to make that pickle soup.
The dill pickle soup! I literally was thinking about it today. So as soon as we can, that should be like our February date night, like for Galentine's. It doesn't have to be on Galentine's because our schedules are insane. But we should have a Galentine's dinner, and we should make soup, the pickle soup.
But I thought we were gonna go to the Asian market and then go to that tiki place.
Yes, we'll do both.
Okay.
But we should do that soon. Because Will's included on that one. Because Will's gonna come with us.
You have to come. I'm kidding. I love you. He's sitting over there at his desk, because both of our desks are in our kitchen, but mine's over here and his is across the giant doorway. So I'm talking about him, but he has his bows on, so he can't hear me because he's listening. Whenever he studies, he listens to piano renditions of anime openings by this guy on YouTube called Animans, and he's like obsessed with him, and that's
really cool.
So it is. It's really good. He has a lot of good ones. He does Attack on Titan.
I love Attack on Titan music.
It's pretty great. So he's on his phone. I don't think he's paying attention to studying right now. William should be doing chemistry.
Ugh.
Oh my gosh. That's okay.
Yeah,
I'll
how
kill
is he
him
gonna
later.
human transmutate if he doesn't know chemistry? Come on, Will.
Yeah, get it together. You want to be a state alchemist or what?
You gotta pass your state alchemist exam. How else are you gonna keep that license, Will? I feel so bad for when Will listens to this episode, like, maybe in a week, and he's like, what the? Anyway.
Oh, sorry. Tangents. Continue.
Oh,
Drop
yes.
sentences.
Oh, okay. Here we go. So, the guy who owns, oh, we already went over that. We know who the guy is. All of a sudden,
Yes.
Lauren's favorite Titan, the abnormal, weird running Titan, is now making his way to the crowd, and,
He's making his way downtown, you know?
making his way
fast.
downtown.
Faces fast and he's homebound.
Anyway, honestly, if you're not watching us on video, you're missing out. Okay, so he's ignoring the scouts and he's going straight to the crowd of people. All of a sudden, Mikasa bursts out of nowhere and takes him out, like, right before he reaches the crowd, like, inches. And he just slams. And she's epically standing on the nape of the neck, and they're like, oh my gosh, Mikasa, she saved us.
And everyone's all, like, blushy faced, like,
oh my gosh, who is that? And she's like,
stop that voice. That is the worst voice you've ever made.
Mikasa,
Dear Lord.
that? Oh my gosh, Mikasa, Mikasa.
No, it's like horrible ASMR. I can't take it.
It reminds me of Stuart from Mad TV when he's like, stop,
Ah,
stop.
look what I can do.
Look at me. Look what I can do. Mom, no, stop. Okay, sorry.
I hate it.
So, I was telling Lauren, ever since, like, Eren disappeared, like, when he gets swallowed, Mikasa becomes an exponentially better character when Eren's dead.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And she doesn't even know. That's the thing. She's just
But
over here being great. And I'm like, where was your personality?
Freed
the
from
last
the
5
burden of
episodes?
Eren. Bless.
She doesn't know that.
But she can feel, her body knows. Her body!
She's like, thank God.
Yeah. So Mikasa asks what's going on with the wagon, and she gets mad that she's like, soldiers are dying back there because this is taking too long. And you're the reason we're stuck because you just want this physical stuff through there. Remember, Mikasa's lost, like, everything. She doesn't really know, but she's lost everything now. The merchant guy says that's their job, and he's like, oh, well, now you're going to complain because now you have to earn your keep as a soldier? Because remember, soldiers are not highly looked upon because they think they're a waste of tax money. And then Mikasa threatens the guy.
For a while, they didn't need
They didn't do anything,
like,
yeah.
200 years.
And now, look, 100. Gosh, it smells so good in this house. Oh my gosh. Okay, so then it's like, I haven't ate today other than those pickle chips you just saw me eat, so it's like, I feel like Spider Pig when he floats following the pie smell. That's how I feel right now.
You feel like Spider Pig?
It's a really specific instance, but that is like what's happening to my body. So Mikasa threatens the guy, and he says her commander and him are old friends. This is my favorite line she's got. And he goes, one word to him and you'll be court-martialed. And she sticks the blade next to his head and stabs right behind him, really close to him. And she goes, will that word come from beyond the grave? And I was like, yes, girl, get him. And so he threatens him, and he goes, all right, move the wagon, let people through, and then we'll deal with the wagon. Yes, Mikasa, better, free from Eren. So the little girl and the mom thanks Mikasa, and she just, like, feels like this is her place. She feels her calling, and I really love that for her. A higher up says that she did good, and then she apologizes. She's accidentally dulled the blades. It won't happen again. And he makes this comment and says, what on earth have you lived through to be so nonchalant in this, like, situation? And then we have a flashback. So Mikasa goes, why do I have to think of you now? Because, you know, she's still got the hots for Eren, and she knows something's wrong because of, you know, Armin's scream. So then Mikasa has this flashback of when she's a kid, And it's a happy little memory in the beginning of her and her mom and her dad. Her mom looks just like her. Her dad's a blonde man. And they say Dr. Yeager's supposed to visit today. They're like cross-stitching. They're saying, hey, this is like traditions past. The mom is saying this, traditions past. Our family has always been cross-stitching. And Dr. Yeager's going to come. And they're teasing. Like Mikasa asks how babies are made. And then the mom's like teasing the dad. It's a cute like slice of life family moment. And then they hear a knocking on the door. So we pan to outside, and Dr. Yeager is knocking on the door. We think this is at the same time. And they're knocking, but no one's answering. So now Dr. Yeager opens the door, and there's just blood everywhere. The dad's body's there, Mikasa's mom's body's there, but Mikasa is missing. When they're talking outside the door, Eren's like, Grisha tells Eren, hey, this kid is your age, you'll try and get along with her. And he's like, well, I'll get along with her if she gets along with me. And Grisha says, Eren, look for the bad in people and expect to find it, and you will. Yeah, so I wrote, Eren is already a brat. They're like 4, and Eren's a brat. I think they're like 6. So they go...
How old are they? I feel like they're like maybe 8 or 9, 10. That's my dog. I'm so sorry.
What is happening to your dog? Is he throwing up?
No, Hootie has really bad allergies, and sometimes he gets really congested, especially when it's cold outside. He's in like, we got him all sweatered up and stuff, but he gets really bad allergies, and then the mucus gets stuck, and he's trying to throw it up. So he can still breathe. He's just not comfortable.
He's like stuck hawking a loogie. Oh, poor babe.
Yeah. Will just went over there and he's rubbing his throat. We do rub his throat whenever
I have tears. I have tears in my eyes. I'm so sorry, Hootie.
He's a very unfortunate little dog, y'all. I don't know what to say.
My gosh, that dog has had like every bad luck stroke in the world at him. Oh my gosh. And there's Steve. Where like nothing ever happens to Steve, and he's so mean to people. Oh, Hootie.
Steve is not mean.
Steve is great. I thought Will was like rubbing like his chair, like rocking in his chair or something. Oh
no, that's just Hootie trying to barf out a loogie.
If y'all can't hear that, it's the most heartbreaking noise, and I just cried.
Just so you know, he will be okay. It's totally fine.
It's
Please
so
excuse
sad.
me, I have to text all of my work children because we're closing the store early tonight and opening late tomorrow due to weather.
Yay! For y'all, though.
No, I close. Not good for me, but that's fine.
Oh, of course that. Of course you have a closing shift and it doesn't affect you. Oh my gosh. You're
okay.
Between you and Hootie, man, like, what are the odds? Golly.
I don't know, dude. Story of my life. It's okay.
I just can't stop listening to it. It's so sad.
Stop listening. Keep talking about the children. It's okay.
Why? So we can talk about more sad things that are about to happen? Okay.
Yes. Actually, can we pause for like 2 seconds while I send out this work text?
Yeah. Okay, we'll be
Just
right back.
2 seconds.
Okay, we're back. So, here we go. They go inside. Everybody's dead. Mikasa's missing. Grisha tells Eren to go wait for him at the base of the mountain and that he has to go get the military police and get them on the case while the trail's still warm. So we see that the guys that broke in and killed everyone has kidnapped Mikasa. And we learned that Mikasa is of Asian descent. They use a different word that I have been told is derogatory.
An ugly word, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's not a great word to say, so I also just wrote down bad word.
Yeah, so for clarification, I believe this is not a great term to use, but they say Oriental. So I'm referencing that as she's of Asian descent. We don't know what country because this is fictional and this is post-apocalyptic, but they want you to know that
like
she's
literally says there used to be different types of people.
Yeah. So they talk about how the world used to be different races, like what we're used to now, but it fell, and now basically they're all of one race because they think it's just that little bit of people that live inside the walls, and that all the rest of the world is demolished because of Titans. So they're yelling about how he killed the mom, and they could have made more money with both of them alive. They're human trafficking. They're going to be sold into basically sex slavery. This is a political context. This show really likes to do that, and I think they do it a lot in a pretty good way. It gets a little confusing at times, but this was, rich people prey on poor people, and it is actually. Oh my gosh, sorry. That was an alarm. Lord. I'm so sorry. I need to turn that alarm. Didn't it happen last week too? Yeah, it did. Golly, I still haven't turned that alarm off. What is it for? I don't know. But golly. One day I'll remember. It's horrible. This is a thing that actually happens in real life. They fetishize people fetishize people from different countries, from certain races. It's a problem. So that's what they're referencing here, and the rich people paying to prey on those people. So Mikasa's mom, we flash back to when they hear the knocking, and they think it's Dr. Jaeger, and they open the door, and it's those guys, not Dr. Jaeger. So we see that this is at two different time periods, when Eren and his dad are knocking, and when Mikasa hears the knocking on her door. They open the door, and it's those three guys, and they just stab Mikasa's dad in the stomach, and he falls over. Mikasa's mom sees it happen and fights back, and she gets a hatchet to the neck in such a brutal way. She tells Mikasa to be scared and run. Because Mikasa goes, "You're scaring me, Mom," and she's, "I want you to be scared. I want you to feel this. I want you to run. Be safe." Because sometimes being scared is a good thing. It's a natural reaction. It's what protects your body. But Mikasa gets frozen in fear and just sees how her parents were killed. The guy punches Mikasa to keep her in line. He's like, "If you get any ideas about attitude, just know this will happen." I think he knocks her unconscious, and they tie her up. So Eren now is walking into this cabin where they have Mikasa tied up. And, he's supposed to wait at the base of the mountain. Does Eren ever listen to anything he's told? No. So, little kindergartner Eren also did not listen. So he goes into the...
I don't think he's a kindergartner. I think he's 9.
I don't know.
9 or 10.
Well, this little Eren, so he knocks on the door of the cabin, and they open it, and they're like, "What do you want?" And he's like, I'm a scared little kid, and I got lost in the woods. And then they realize, oh, he's a scared little kid. They got lost in the woods. Don't make a scene. He'll go away.
Yes,
let's just help him.
This child they have sympathy for.
Because he's a white child.
What?
That's why. Racism.
Oh, right.
Hashtag racism.
He's also a boy.
That too. Well, that doesn't always stop people from human trafficking.
You're not wrong. But he's not a pretty boy. He's not Armin.
Did you see those eyes? He's got gorgeous green eyes. He's not Armin.
Sure.
I just heard what you said. It just processed in my head.
I was like, that was a wonderful joke that you're just gonna skip over.
It just processed in my head. Pretty boy. You're a pretty boy. We'll pay nicely for you. Okay, so Eren, we see him sweet talking, and we pan back behind Eren, and we could see that Eren's got this knife behind his back while he's like, "I'm just an innocent little kid," and then he just stabs the guy in the throat. Not just the brutal in the throat. The other guy runs at him, but Eren still closes the door, a little gremlin looking, peeking out through the door crack, meh, and closes the door.
I love how scared this man is of this child.
Yeah, he was demon child.
Instantly, he was just "Oh no, I'm gonna die!" Barely fought back.
So Eren,
grown man.
not for demon child, Eren Jaeger. So Eren, at one point, we see, he's got the knife, taped at the end of this broomstick, How he did that so fast, I'm not quite sure. And then, like, runs to that dude and stabs him with the broomstick knife, which is, like, a bayonet. And then, like, gets the knife off and then just starts, like, slasher stabbing, like,
Meanwhile,
that's psycho,
Mikasa
I know.
Is
but
like watching and falling in love with him as she's just watching this boy stab. And if that isn't a trauma response,
he murdered for
I don't know
me.
what is.
Yeah, that's hardcore therapy meeting. So
it's like borderline Stockholm syndrome.
And
borderline.
Meanwhile, Eren is straddling this grown adult man, going stabbing him and yelling, "This is what you get for being an animal! Die, die, die!" And I'm like, unhinged. Mikasa has some issues that are about to never get resolved. So and then Eren looks at her and is like, the hard part's over. Oh, murder? Watching the life pour out of someone's eyes? I don't care if they're bad. Like, that was brutal. And then unties her. Mikasa very quietly goes, "What happened to the third one?" And yeet! Third guy appears and just, like, kicks Eren across the room and is like, "You little twerp." And this is more realistic if you're, like, a 7-foot man and this 2-foot child is coming at you. He just holds him by the throat and is, like, strangling him. And Eren's starting to go limp and he's, like, yelling at Mikasa. What does he yell?
He says, "The only way to win is to fight.
Take him out! To kill or be killed. The only way to live is to fight." This comes in play in the next episode a lot. So Mikasa shakily picks up the knife and says she doesn't think she can do this. But then all of a sudden she has this memory and she goes, "I've seen it so many times since the day I was born." Basically, she sees the circle of life. A praying mantis eating a butterfly, her dad killing a duck. She sees that the world is a cruel place and it's her home. Mikasa suddenly, like, stops shaking and is in total control of her body. Like, Eren goes, "You need to fight!" And she's like, "All right." And then becomes focused and ready. And she snaps and she kind of gets, like, super strength and breaks the floorboards and, like, runs towards that dude ready to kill him.
What is that? What is that? How is that possible?
For another
Maybe it's
season.
just a really crappy cabin.
For another season. I have theories, but we've only heard the character.
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
Eventually.
There's another character she's related to that we kind of hear about, and we'll break it. I think that's like season 3. We'll get there.
Yeah, it's pretty far.
Yeah. So then she runs at the guy and stabs him in the back, but has so much strength, she stabs him through the heart from behind. So that's like spine, ribs. Your body is built a lot to protect your heart from, like, everything. So to get stabbed through the heart from behind is really intense. So then we pan to the aftermath. The kids are outside around a fire, and the military police are looking at everything, and they're like, "Bruh, kids couldn't have done this. This is brutal." Grisha's like lecturing Eren, and Eren's not even taking it from him, and he's like, "They were animals disguised as human, and they needed to be put down." I was like, why
would he, though? Why would Grisha think that he would take a minute to listen to him? He just killed 2 grown men on his own.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, just discovered his own power. Like,
if
he's just
my
like,
kid,
I don't have to listen to you.
If my kid did this, like, you know, people say that they love their kid, and I don't have a child, so I don't understand that bond. But, like, my little Ted Bundy kid's gonna go somewhere locked up forever with therapy or something.
Even if they did it to save someone else?
I mean, the way they did it is so, like, I get it, to save someone else, but then you hovered over them and stabbed him 50 more times saying, "Die, die, die, die"?
Yeah, there's probably something in there.
At the least, we're going to therapy every day for the rest of your life. But it almost seems like Eren enjoyed it. So,
I mean, I definitely think that he did. Because again, Eren is the worst. I know I'm giving off very conflicting Eren vibes.
Yeah, you are!
But he's
difficult.
awful, and I know... he is awful, and again, I'm not near an apologist. I just think that at certain moments,
I don't know. You're sounding an awfully lot like a Jaegerist there, Lauren.
I'm not though. I'm really not, and you know that. And
I know
once
that.
I tell you my favorite character, you'll know that for sure. Anyway,
It's gonna be Zeke. Is
it's
it?
not.
Oh, good. I was like, God, I hate Zeke.
I like Zeke quite a bit, but we'll go into that later.
Every time I picture Zeke.
No, we can't.
No, this isn't a spoiler.
We can't talk about it.
Every time I picture Zeke, I hear the Twilight quote from Rosalie in my head. My monkey man. That is the exact reaction I have in my body too, but why is that it's whatever. So, Grisha yells at him that he's way too young to be gambling with his life, which is, the story of Eren's short-lived life that we've seen in these 5 episodes of everybody going, Eren, no, and Eren going, Eren, yes! So Mikasa asks Dr. Jaeger how to get home. She's cold, she's tired, and there's nowhere else for her to go. She wants to go back to her house. Eren walks over to her and wraps her in his red scarf. What?
In the worst way to wrap this scarf. Like, he covers her face completely.
Like, I hope you didn't need to breathe. Like, oh my gosh.
Like, I laughed so hard at how he just, wraps this scarf. And at the end, he just, throws it over her head. And he's like, it's warm, right? After he just rudely covers her entire face.
He's the rudest human being to Mikasa. It makes me so mad all the time.
I don't think that was being rude there. I think he's just really stupid.
Gosh.
And a child.
Yeah, so he wraps her in his scarf, the red scarf we see her wearing all the time, forever and ever, and says she can keep it and it ought to keep her warm. Grisha offers for Mikasa to come live with them because she deserves her share of rest. And Eren goes, what's the problem? Don't even think about it. We've got to go home. Come on. And so that's why I'm like, literally... She went from seeing no murder to all murder in the last 12 hours, man. Be nice. Just kid.
How is he not being nice here? He said, hey...
Don't even think about it. It's his tone. It's his tone. He's like, come on, we gotta go home. And I'm like...
I'm telling you, if you watch the sub, it's completely different Eren.
Patience. Well, this Eren
if you watch
really
the
fits.
It's completely different.
We have to stop talking about Eren, because... I'm the worst at slipping on surprises, and I'm gonna slip something from season 4.
Right now.
We don't talk about Eren. No. We don't talk about Eren.
I can't do this right now.
It was my wedding day.
No, it's a wedding day. I hate everything.
Wasn't the cloud in the sky. No clouds allowed.
No clouds allowed in the sky. Get out. Stop it. We can't do this right now.
We don't talk about Eren. I know. We're
gonna go on for 3 hours.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Please.
Okay. So Mikasa, we're back in Trost, and she's just slaughtering Titans left and right. She's like, she's the best. So they get everyone out of Trost, and she goes to help the Vanguard retreat. And she says, Eren, as long as you're a part of my life, I can fight till the bitter end. Well, we got some bad news for you, girl. So I wrote, my last note on that was, girl has the hots real hard. After credits, the quote is, it's a cruel world, but I have a place in it. Mikasa races to the person who makes the struggle worthwhile, only to learn how deep hell goes. And this is when I realized Armin is the one narrating all of the after credit bits. So he's kind of like telling this story.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, so I just realized it in this episode. I was like, oh, this is Armin. And basically all we see, this is all I wrote for like the visuals that we get in the after credit. It's like, more fighting Titans. That's all I got. That was it. That was the summary of next episode. Titans. Cool.
But I only have 2 voice actors for this. Usually when I do voice actors, I try to only do people with names, but no new characters had names in this. But I did feel like I needed to do Mikasa's parents.
Yeah.
So that's who I did.
Okay.
So Mikasa's mother was her English voice actor was Colleen Clickenbeard, who is actually a really big, director of ADR for Funimation. Clinkenbeard.
So that's really great that she is a director of ADR, because I mean she's clicking, and I'm sure there's a lot of bearded men. Anyway, go ahead. So sorry, that was dumb. So sorry.
Anyway, she's also the original voice of Frieza Hawkeye in Full Metal Alchemist 2004. She did all of the ADR for that. She does
But she
all the
doesn't-
ADR for My Hero Academia, and she's also the voice of Momo Yaoyorozu in My Hero Academia.
Oh, but is she Hawkeye in Brotherhood?
She's not Hawkeye in Brotherhood, only in the original.
Oh, okay. Well, I still like Momo, so.
Yeah. And then the Japanese voice actor was Yuka Hiroshi, and she didn't have anything, so I just put, that's it, folks. The end. And then Mikasa's father his English voice actor is Jared Green, and he played Wataru in Cheer Boys, which I'm still to this day hurt by. I watched this entire anime. I say that like it was a lot. It was like 12 episodes.
Cheer
But
Boys?
I was really, yes, it's exactly what you think it is. It's boy cheerleaders, right?
Okay. We tend to call those yell leaders or stunters, but all right.
Well, no, they call themselves cheerleaders. They do a cheer club in high school, and they build up the entire show. The entire show is them building up to this final performance, and the show itself was very just not great, but not bad. It was like just good enough to where I was like, I have to see how this ends. You know what I mean?
So
and
I did with Designated Survivor.
Watch. Yeah. So I just come off of Yuri on Ice Watch, and I was like, no, this has to be great. So I'm like waiting for the final performance. They never show the final performance. It turns out the entire time, the final performance was the opening. So they just played the opening again. I was so angry, Bridget. I was so angry. I hate this anime. I hate it so much.
I would be livid.
Anyway, that's
like you don't get something new and special to end it. It's what you've already seen. Like
it still has just. I'm deeply upset. No,
rightfully so.
Made me more
I haven't even watched
this.
it, and I feel so much anger inside me for you. Like that's so wrong.
Thank you. But he plays Wataru, who's one of the cheer boys in Cheer Boys. So angry. He also plays Winters in D. Grayman, and I love D. Grayman, so that was fine. And best of all, he plays Hitoshi Shinzo in My Hero Academia. Thank you, Jared Green.
Sasage.
And then his Japanese voice actor is Daichi Indo, and he plays Ichi Janto in The Shaman King 2021 and twice in My Hero Academia.
Oh,
and then our mid-episode screen cards this time were about ultra hard steel. So it's a material that is both hard and flexible, allowing it to tear through Titan flesh. The single-edged swords that use the material are widely known as anti-Titan weapons. Refining ultra-hard steel requires the use of blast furnaces, which only exist in the industrial city, meaning that they can't be made anywhere else.
That entire
the screen card
sentence about ultra-hard steel that's flexible and can penetrate Titan flesh. Like, maybe it's because I'm single, but whoa. Alright. Was there...
So episode 7 is called Small Blade. And, here's your Funimation summary. Shut up, Bridget, you pervert. I cannot deal with it. How dare you?
He triggered my asthma. The age demographic that watches this show, they should have known better.
I mean, I definitely don't think this show is for children.
Me trying to hold this in, and then you went, alright, Small Blade. And I was like,
made of ultra hard steel.
Don't worry, it's flexible. But when it penetrates that Titan's flesh...
It's ultra hard and super flexible.
Get my nape. Anyway, go ahead.
After the retreat bell sounds, many cadets find themselves without enough fuel to scale the wall back to safety. Mikasa begins to lose hope once she hears of the death of Armin's squad, but the appearance of a new type of Titan strokes her will to fight.
We had to use that word. We had to use that word.
Strokes. I don't write the summaries, Bridget. I don't write the summaries.
Strokes her will to fight. Doesn't she wish that was Eren? Anyway, so Titans first appeared over 100 years ago. So basically, they recap us again real hard.
Okay, there's something about this recap though, where they zoom out and they show the Colossal Titan, and for some reason in this, the Colossal Titan's arms only reach his hips. They're like teeny tiny.
The first,
and I don't know if they're like that in any.
The way the Colossal Titan is drawn in the first episode, which is the footage they keep reusing, is ridiculous. It's like someone skipped arm day.
It's awful.
And his legs to butt proportion are really off. Like, he looks like a giant rectangle with little scrawny legs and then a big square butt. It's just like, have they seen a naked person before? I know he's missing skin, but the rest should look pretty fine. Yeah, maybe not. Okay, so...
Maybe... No, I'm not going to say that.
Don't. Small blades.
No.
Alright. Titans first appeared over 100 years ago. Brute strength of them shoved humans to the brink of extinction overnight. Wall Maria, Wall Rose, and Wall Cena is what they hid behind. In the year 845, 2 new breeds of Titan appeared, colossal and armored. 20% of human race vanished that day. They withdrew behind Wall Rose. 5 years later, in 850, Colossal broke the gate again, and Titans are flooding in. 2 hours later, the evacuation of Trost was complete. No civilian lives were lost, but the same can't be said for the soldiers who died. Here we go! Alright, soldiers, and the, what? Just got ahead of myself before my brain could understand what I was saying. Soldiers! I was not ready to speak yet, mentally. Okay. So, there are soldiers, this is the worst, so they're in this basement. And there are these soldiers, and they keep telling the captain that they need him here because there's only a handful of soldiers left. And the captain is retreating further into the walls, and he threatens the soldiers that are questioning him. Basically, this is that dumb captain that we saw when the scouts were coming back that was like, it's all my fault, everybody died, they died for no reason. He's gonna go retreat inside and be safe from the Titans and leave all these soldiers here to die.
I didn't even put that together that was him.
Yeah, so this is their leader. Yeah, he's the worst. So Mikasa's still zipping around in the rain looking for Eren, and she's wondering why people aren't going over the wall, that they must not have heard the withdrawal signal. Well, it's because they're all out of gas. Those soldiers that we see that are inside telling that captain we need them, they're the soldiers of the supply team. They're at the supply depot, and they're too scared to leave outside the walls because Titans are everywhere, obviously. But now they have all their soldiers stranded and they can't retreat because they have no gas because the supply depot team hasn't gotten to them. So you see them surrounded and they're barricaded in this library, and this guy is stuffing the musket, and that sounded like a euphemism. He's literally stuffing the musket. I don't remember what the word is, but this gesture I'm not making is not helpful either. Anyway, so you think he's getting ready to shoot the Titan, and you're like, what's that gonna do? And basically he shoves it in his mouth and he shoots himself, and the girl next, there's just 4 of his teammates sitting next to him and just have to witness all that.
Messed up.
That part, I remember, it even shocked me again when I knew it was coming, but I remember the first time I watched that.
I didn't remember.
Genuinely shocked me. It's rough. You see him do it, and it takes a second for your brain to process what's happening, and then by the time you do, it happened, and you're like, oh my gosh.
So sorry.
The supply depot, the people in the capital and the captain, barricaded themselves inside that HQ, and they're terrified. They have no gas. Everybody that's stranded out in the city have no gas. They're just sitting on these roofs because they can't use their EDM gear to help. They can grapple, but they would literally be just using their own body weight, and that's going to take just so long, and then you're going to run out of time. How they shoot everywhere is through the gas canisters. So all that's left are the rookies, basically. Jean is breaking everything down and is feeling really hopeless. Connie's trying to figure out what to do. They need to get to HQ, but there are literally Titans crawling on the walls and walking towards there because they know there are people in there. And Armin's still just sitting in the corner in pure shock, but Sasha's hopeful and telling him that, like, well, I'll take the lead. I'll go first. Come on, we gotta do something. Like, sweet Sasha. I highlighted this in blue for, like, fun things that you might want to remember later. Annie asks Reiner, well, do we move out? And he says, no, we have to let them gather up first. Just a little comment happening there on the side. Then Mikasa asks Annie if she's seen Eren's squad. They say they don't know about him, but they found Armin. Armin's, like, dreading telling Mikasa what happened, and he wishes he died too. Mikasa asks him, where's Eren? And he looks at her just sobbing and says the cadets of Squad 34, I think was their squad number. Thomas, Billy, there are lots of names that I was trying to write down, but
Billy.
I think they said Billy. I don't know.
Thomas, Milius, Nina, and Knack. Those are their names.
Milius. Okay.
There is no Billy.
So I got Thomas. Okay, that's one. Only because they went Thomas when he got, like, smashed. And someone else. Oh, I wrote and someone else. I was I'm not going backwards for this. And then Eren all died valiantly on the field of battle. Armin says he's worthless and he should have died, and it's a really sad moment, but it's a really sweet moment you see from Mikasa. She puts his hand on him and says, calm yourself, we don't have time to get emotional. And Mikasa takes charge. She's like, Armin, stand up. And she takes charge of all the rookies that are left. She says she's, like, the most powerful. She can slay all the Titans in the path on her own, but if they don't go, they're all a bunch of cowards, and she'll see you later. And it's like, what? She yells, like, the only way to live is to fight. And my favorite moment after, it's a very uninspiring speech, but it's kind of making a move.
Yeah.
And my favorite moment is when Jean was like, well, I was hoping for something a little more hopeful, but all right, let's go. So Jean follows her, followed by Connie, and then Annie and Reiner and Bertolt, and then Sasha, then Marco, and everybody else. They realize how great Mikasa is with ODM gear and jumping around and slaying Titans, and they're like, man, she really is, like, the best of the best. But Armin is worried she's using too much gas. He says it. Remember, Armin's the smarty pants who really shouldn't be in the battlefield, but he is really great at tactical and intelligence, and, like, they can use him for sure, but he should not be the one fighting. And this is where I wrote my note. Honestly, Mikasa is way better without Eren. Yep,
she is.
Truth.
Fact.
Hard stop. Mikasa lets adrenaline distract her from grief, but of course, like Armin said, she runs out of gas and she falls. She just, like, drops out of the sky and lands in a dumpster. Armin goes after her, and then Connie runs after Armin to help because Connie's a great human. Mikasa is just laying there and, like, dazed. I mean, I can't blame her. When you find out your best friend, love of your life, dies gruesomely, and you didn't get to say goodbye or anything, like, it's grief. And she's trying to use adrenaline.
Yeah,
so
we all
she's
know
just
that.
like
We've
numb.
all felt that before in our lives.
She's just numb. Yeah, you
know, sometimes your best friend and love of your life just gets eaten.
His leg gets eaten, his arm gets eaten, and then it gets swallowed.
Take a beat.
Take it. Let me.
It's really relatable.
Yeah, that was last week. So Mikasa is thinking, it happened. Why this again? I've lost my family. Wasn't the first time enough? It's all over. Nothing left for them to take from me. It's really a brutal moment because she has had just, like, the worst hands given to her. And then all of a sudden this Titan starts walking towards Mikasa. And this is where we get our first, like, little credit break thing. And this is the one where it goes da-na-na-na-na normally. And then it changes tones and does it again. You know, like when we get Full Metal Alchemist. Full Metal Alchemist. But this time, instead of the first noise, you just keep hearing the Titan's footsteps walking towards her. It's very chilling. They did that really cool. And we don't get a lot of, like, little credit breaks that are different like that. We don't even get credit breaks in season 4 right now anyway, so we know nothing helps anyway. Anyway, so Titans are literally crawling literally crawling over the headquarters walls. And Jean is watching Tom on the ground with that. Is it Tom? Was that what his name was? They say Tom?
His name is Tom.
I got one. Got one.
You're correct.
Thanks, rather than Billy.
Yeah, not Billy. Just
not
Tom.
Billy. Milius Billy. Tom's on the ground without gas.
Even a William. Like, I can't even give you that.
I don't know what happened there. A Titan scoops him up and just bites him in half, and these others go to help, and, like, Sean's like, no, stop. But, like, says it really quietly, and then they get, like, eaten up too. Jean realizes that maybe he was really cocky and maybe he is not meant to lead. He should have stopped them. Marco and Sasha are kind of looking at him in horror. Right, Marco's the freckled one we're looking at, right? That's his name? Okay, cool.
That's Marco.
So, Marco doesn't stick in my memory very well for reasons. So...
He's stuck in mine. For also reasons.
Yeah. We'll get there. So Annie, Reiner, and Bertolt are there too. Mikasa is thinking, this world is cruel, but it's also beautiful. And she closes her eyes while that Titan's walking towards her, and it seems like she's accepting death, and she's just gonna let herself die.
And she says, it's been a good life. And I'm like, girl, no it hasn't. You've had the worst
You're
life.
14!
Shut up.
Like, move! Like, yeah, like, girl.
Like,
you haven't even kissed a boy. Let's roll. Come on. We see, like, these blood cells pulsing in her. We'll get to that in season 3. But Mikasa all of a sudden slices the Titan's hand with her broken blade, and then the other hand of the Titan starts slapping her around, but she's like trying to dodge, but she's still getting hit. And she goes, why? I had already given up. Why do I keep struggling? Why do I keep getting up? Why am I still fighting? What keeps pushing me? Like, she can't just die. Something inside of her is not letting her die. So another Titan steps in behind Mikasa, and we hear Mikasa think about, like, Eren's voice and memories of telling her to kill or be killed, and her blood does that weird pulsing thing again. And she apologizes to him and says she's through giving up and will never give up again, because if she dies, the memories of him die with her. And so now there's 2 Titans in this alleyway with Mikasa. But then, twist, the Titan that had just stepped behind her, steps right in front of her, sends her flying backwards, rude, but doesn't hurt her. And then he's like really buff, and he's got pointy ears, and he's got this like teeth jaw thing. He's got like an unhinged jaw with a lot of teeth. Oh, this is stupid. Look, if you're watching us, that's him.
There you go.
I was like, oh, why am I doing this? He is who steps, this thingy is who steps behind Mikasa. And then sends her flying, and he screams, and it sounds different. It's a very interesting sound. And so we assume maybe he's like an abnormal Titan. I don't know. The other Titan kind of like screams at him too. And then that Titan starts slamming the Titan that Mikasa just cut his hand, and curb stomping his face into the ground until it kills him. Like, he's just stomping on this Titan. And Armin finds Mikasa, grabs her, pulls her up on the roof. Connie comes over too. And Connie's like, great, now we're stuck here with 2 15-meter Titans. But the one with pointy ears and crazy jaw, because this other Titan walks up, and he starts to square up like a human in a fight. This is the image we see. He squares up like this, like you're gonna be in a bar fight.
Like a boxer.
Yeah. Oh, that's better. Yeah, bar fight.
Like he's ready to tussle. You know?
He's like, yeah, bring it on, bring it on.
Like, would you like to play a game of fisticuffs, my friend?
Fisticuffs, my dear sir. All of a sudden, his mustache grows and curls on his head.
Be cute.
Cute. So Mikasa explains that one seems to be different, and he just This is my favorite moment. He just goes, "Whoopah!" and like sucker punches the other Titan so hard that it like burns his hand off, and the other Titan's head just goes flying and slamming into a building. Like, he punches the head off the Titan. So that Titan falls, and their heads can regenerate, so he just starts stomping on the nape of the neck. And so Armin realizes that it has no reaction to them, like other Titans would have swarmed them, because they were loud. And Mikasa says it seems to understand hand-to-hand combat, and like it knew exactly where to destroy on the Titan, so it died and it didn't regenerate. And then Connie says for them to just chalk it up to another abnormal Titan. So
yeah, Connie's just like, let's just leave.
Yeah, he's like,
we can talk about this later.
Let's talk about this
right now.
Not in a life or death moment. Let's address this tomorrow. Connie's not wrong. So Armin gives Mikasa his gas tanks, and tells her to use the gas more sparingly because everyone's lives are riding on it. Mikasa starts realizing how selfish she was, that she didn't even try and lead them correctly, that she just had no, like, will to save her life or the others. Like, she was responsible for them too. Armin says he's gonna stay behind. He's like, just leave me this small blade and I will just stay here. And Mikasa won't let him stay behind. She grabs him and is like, no, we're gonna figure this out. Mikasa thinks about that pointy-eared Titan, but that it struck a familiar chord in her. Something so familiar and primal. She wonders if there's more like him. So after credits, that's where that ends. The after credits, the quote is, "A Titan killing a Titan. The 104th class is completely speechless. However, the cadets have something much more in store for them." And the images we see, it looks like they're in a basement, and where they confronted the captain, and they look like they're surrounded by Titans, and they have muskets, which we know are not very useful.
No. Unless you're doing it to yourself.
That one seemed to be pretty efficient in what it was doing.
Alright, well, let's go over these voice actors. So, the first 3 voice actors I only have 4 for this episode. The first 3 are the rest of Eren's squad that died, that now have names. They didn't speak in this episode.
Billy!
They didn't speak, and now they're named. So here we go. No! The first one is Nak Tierce. And his English voice actor is Will Short. He plays Cancer in Fairy Tail, and Glenn McGuire in Dragonar Academy.
Fairy Tail.
The Japanese voice actor is Tomoyuki Hijichi.
Okay.
That one was hard. My mouth doesn't want to do that. They play Zato in Fairy Tail. So much Fairy Tale. And Ryuki in Assassination Classroom. Then we have Milius Ziermiski.
Billy!
And his English voice actor is someone that we know. It's Joel McDonald, who plays Yuri Rockbell in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, or Winry's father. Yes, so good.
Love seeing him in that one episode.
He also plays... yeah, what a great character. He also plays Poland in Hetalia Axis Powers, Yuga Oyama in My Hero Academia, or Cannot Stop Twinkling, and Tojo in Fire Force. Yep, duck your head. And then the Japanese voice actor's name is...
Sparkle Navels! Sorry, go ahead.
Is Kazuhiro Fusegawa, I think, and they didn't have anything, so I just put nope, nothing. And then Mina Coralina, her English voice actor's name is Alexis Thompson. She's also a nope. I couldn't even find her in a lot of the voice actor things that I use. And then I went to Wikipedia and I tried to look her up. I couldn't find her there either. So
maybe she was like a sound tech or something, and they just were like, "Hey, can you say this line? Thanks."
We have 3 lines for you, and then you die. Will you do this?
Yeah.
One of them is like, "Yeah, me too." That's pretty much it.
Okay, team.
And then her Japanese voice actor's name is Chika Ainzai. These last couple are hard. Z-A-I. Anzai?
Anzai?
Anzai. That sounds better. And she plays Kurumi Seijo in Wonder Egg Priority. Sakura Nanami. Okay, Sakura Nanami in Toilet Bound. Hanako-kun. Remember that one?
Toilet Bound?
Came back around. Toilet Bound Hanako-kun, and I cannot tell you anything about it.
Okay.
Just know that it's an anime, and it's a lot. We'll talk about it later. There's Rika Ada in Fruits Baskets, and then she plays Barbara in Promised Neverland. And then our last voice actor is for our poorly departed Tom. He doesn't have a last name.
Not Tom.
It's just Tom. His English voice actor is Tyler Walker, and he plays Scope from Fire Force and Gang Orca from My Hero Academia.
Okay, but I love Gang Orca.
I do too.
Is like the coolest dude. He's like mafia, but for the good
dope.
guys.
He is dope. And then the Japanese voice actor is actually a voice actor I just said, and his name is Shinjuki Sayaki, and he plays Thomas Wagner in Attack on Titan. So he just plays two Toms that die.
Well, interesting. Tom and Thomas.
Yeah. And then our mid-episode screens for this, we're talking all about ODM gear, and it's talking about the main unit. So basically it just tells you that the wires are stored in the main unit. It has two axles that spin independently of each other, and the controller is actually in the handpiece, and it uses gas, and the gas is compressed and held in the canisters from which it is ejected, and that's what makes them swing forward. So that's all it said.
That's called momentum, team.
The end. So yeah, those are all my notes.
So next week we're gonna watch episodes 8, 9, and 10. Those are all still struggles for Trost. Parts 4, 5, and 6. Episode 8 is I Can Hear His Heartbeat. Episode 9 is Whereabouts of His Left Arm. It's a great episode. And then episode 10, Answer.
I like that it's just called Answer.
So
where's the question?
The question is whereabouts are of his left arm. Whereabouts?
Wait, is it called Answer? Mine says Response.
Mine's Answer.
What the heck?
Funimation.com. I copied these, I think, from Funimation. Maybe I didn't.
I did it from the fan wikis. I don't know if it's correct.
Let's see here. What episode is that? 10?
Response. Yeah.
Answer.
What the heck?
No.
Oh, well.
No, it does say response. Where did I pull answer from?
Well, a response is an answer.
It is, yeah. Maybe I looked at something that had a weird translation. I'm going to change that to response.
Alright. But if you loved this 2-hour mess of us just going on tangents about the equator and how much Lauren is a secret Jaegerist, I guess.
And I don't chew my noodles.
Next. Oh, what a ride this has been today.
This has been a good one.
Thank you all for being here. We love anime.
And we love you!
We love you. We'll see you next week.